I love baseball cards. Got 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em.
Welcome back to another episode of Remember the Great Sports. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that's not new to the collectors out there, but card shops, or LCS, local card shops, as many of you YouTubers refer to them as. I've been going to a card shop where I grew up in the Metro East. The Metro East is referred to the Illinois side of the river in the St. Louis area. St. Louis obviously is in Missouri. And this gentleman that owns this sports shop or card shop or memorabilia shop has been in business for a long time. I was in college when I first met this individual, and I used to work at Target just right up the street from this card shop, and a friend of mine that worked at Target mentioned this card shop to me, and I of course had to check it out. So I went into the card shop and I mentioned to the owner, hey, there's a guy I work with at Target. We have a mutual interest. We like collecting sports stuff. And ever since then, I've, known this individual in this card shop and seen it grow and seen it expand over the years. He used to not have as much space, and he bought or leased out the rest of the building and expanded and continued growing his shop until what it is today. If you're ever in the St. Louis area, it's just, maybe 30 minutes away from St. Louis on the Illinois side of the river, and the name of this shop is GoodSports, and it's located in Edwardsville, Illinois. I'm going to put a link down in the description for his Facebook page, his website. His contact information is on both of those sites. Check out his Facebook page if you're on Facebook, because he has many pictures of his shop and what's available in there. He is just not a card shop. He is a memorabilia store, and he, if you're an autograph collector, he can get you an autograph of almost any Cardinal ever. And we're talking the old, deceased Hall of Famers on down the list. So if you need Stan Musial, Lou Brock, Red Schoendienst, Whitey Herzog, Ozzie Smith, on down the list. This guy has multiple items that he's accumulated, throughout the years in his collection that is for sale. He's also big into vintage cards. He has a wide selection of oddball and vintage cards. He has a lot of St. Louis Blues memorabilia, if you're into the hockey as well. I think he has some old St. Louis Rams stuff. Obviously now the Los Angeles Rams, he has some stuff like that around his store. So he tries to cater to all types of collectors, not just one specific, like an autographer or a vintage or a person that collects hockey sticks, whatever. He tries to cater to a wide variety of tastes, so to speak, in the hobby industry. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance to come to the area, visit Good Sports in Edwardsville, Illinois. So enough about that. I've talked a good length about card shops. This is information that you guys already know. So let's get right down to the nitty gritty of what I bought at Good Sports in Edwardsville, Illinois. So to start, I think you've probably seen a few of these circulating on my channel, but I found a sealed box of University of Texas Longhorns Upper Deck football. I haven't done this yet. I've never opened a box on YouTube, so maybe I'll open this up on YouTube and see what we pull out. I've bought a couple of these already. I pulled, I think, one autograph. It was nobody, big time or anything like that. Actually, I take that back. That was the Notre Dame set that I pulled an autograph out of like this. So I've never pulled an autograph out of this yet. I've bought like three boxes already, and he only had $5 on it. So I thought, for $5, I've already got a nice little collection of these going. I've sent a few of these through the mail and had successes with them. So I thought, why not get another box, see what we got out of it. And the cool thing about this box, and I'll talk more in detail when I open the box, is you get one of these collectible pennants inside. So that's kind of a cool little keepsake, you know, that you get in the box as well. So very happy to get that at only $5. So we'll just put that up there, get it out of the way. The other nice thing is he has some autographs that are kind of, how do I call this, raw autographs. And he usually prices them relatively cheap, meaning $1 a piece, you know, 3 for $5, you know, anything along those lines. So here are some cheap autographs that I bought from Good Sports. And to start out with, here are some minor league autographs. And for this whole stack, I found them in a box, and the reason I bought these aren't any huge names by any means, but I have both of these sets unsigned. So you know, being a big minor league set collector, I thought, you know, if I can get these relatively cheap, why not, you know, have 9 or 10 cards each out of the set already signed. So sorry about the blurry camera there. So I'll try to go through these without blurring you out too much, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of these total. And, you know, there's nobody huge in here. I would probably say the best one is Darren Fletcher. You know, Darren Fletcher was a long-time catcher for the Expos and the Phillies, I want to say. And he, you know, spent probably a good decade in the majors as a catcher. So happy to have him to that collection. There's some other names in here like Mike Munoz. I know he played in the majors. Luis Lopez, the infielder. Mike Huff. He played briefly in the majors for a little while. I want to say Javier Ortiz, unless I'm thinking of a different Javier Ortiz. He might have had a little major league time. And then the Tucson set, Gary Cooper, I know he's been up briefly. I want to say Louis Meadows was up. You know, there's a Jose Tolentino. I'm not sure if he made it up or not. Ed Vosberg was a lefty specialist for a long time. Yep. Texas Rangers, if you guys remember me mentioning, I like collecting the Rangers from that era. I'm pretty sure he was on that team with Will Clark. Then Brian Meyer here also had a stint with the Astros, if I believe. So in total, he sold me all of these for $5. And I thought that was more than fair and enough. Yeah, they're not worth a whole lot, but for $5, great to add them to my collection. Now these next ones, I'll put those up there, were 3, 4, 5. So $5 for 3 of them, and I of course couldn't buy 3, I had to buy 6, so 6 for 10 if you want to look at it that way. And a couple of these guys are deceased, and a couple of them are pretty good, you know, autographs to have that are still living that I just didn't have in my collection. And the first one is Lindy McDaniel, former Cardinal. And again, I go back to, he has a stock load of former Cardinal autographs. If you're a St. Louis Cardinal fan, you could walk out of there with stacks of cheap Cardinal raw autographs if you do the shopping right. I just try to buy stuff that I don't have, so that's where Lindy McDaniel came in. And this is on one of those beautiful TCMA cards. And I would say, here's another one here, moving on from McDaniel, a Jimmy Pearsall, and it says best regards Jimmy Pearsall, and it's out of the same set. I would say he had at least probably 30 to 40 out of this set that he was selling 3 for $5. And, you know, some of them were common minor stars, then others were, you know, Jimmy Pearsall. You know, I think I saw Bobby Shantz in there. I've got so many Bobby Shantz cards, I definitely didn't need to buy another one, so I passed on that. But if you don't have a Bobby Shantz, you know, add one like that would be great. Another thing I wanted to point out is in this same box, he had stacks, and I don't know if there are collectors out there that are watching, he had stacks of 74 tops. Or I'm sorry, those are 75s, right? Yep, 75 tops. Multicolored, cards. And I want to say there were maybe some 76 tops in there also. But we're talking like 100 plus out of each set with autographs on them. And this one is a Ralph Garr Rod Carew batting leader card signed by Garr. I wish I could get Carew to sign that, but if I ever saw Rod Carew, I'd probably have him sign a heck of a lot more things than just that card. I have other things on the list that I'd rather have him on than that. So if you're trying to collect this set signed, definitely check out the email down in the description. You might be able to work something out with the owner, and he might be able to give you a good deal on those if you're trying to piece together the signed set. So those are 3 that I grabbed. I'm going to move these off camera for a second so I can show you 3 more. Now this next gentleman is also deceased. He played for the Astros. He was their closer for many years, probably starting in 1980 to about 87-ish, maybe a little bit longer, and that is former closer Dave Smith. Very happy to see this Dave Smith in the box. That was somebody I did not have in my collection. Always was keeping an eye out for a cheap one if I ever saw one, and very happy to add that to the collection. Now this next guy is a very interesting story. There's been tons of videos or YouTube videos or even actual news outlets like NBC, CBS, or whatever that have done stories on this guy's case, and that is Mr. Brian Williams, the former Chicago Bull, former Detroit Piston, and as you can see, this is a certified autograph out of the classic 4-sport set, and you can see there's a little small serial number down there at the bottom. But Brian Williams, also known as Bison Dele, had was actually lost at sea. That's kind of the mystery around his life. He was a very good role player, basketball player, and during an NBA off season he went out to sea somewhere like in New Zealand or somewhere like that, and him, his wife or significant other, the captain, all disappeared at sea, but somehow his brother survived. Well, his brother survived and wound up showing up somewhere trying to pawn some stuff off at a golden pawn place or whatever that was Brian's or Bison's, and the police were caught on to him, and I guess they were in the middle of the murder investigation, and his brother, Brian's brother, actually got sick and wound up dying in the hospital. So their prime suspect to Brian's disappearance and his spouse's disappearance and the captain who was managing the boat's disappearance passed away while they're in the hospital, so it kind of more or less became a cold case file, and no charges were ever brought up against anybody because they probably assumed that the brother was the one that committed the murder. So kind of a cryptic story, but adding Brian Williams certified autograph to my collection, definitely happy to add that. Now this last guy, if you saw a couple videos back, my card show pickup video, I picked up that Twins set, and if you notice, Frank Quilici, hopefully I'm saying that right, Quilici, was also in that set. Well, this card was already signed by Bob Rogers, one of the coaching staff, on that team, or Buck Rogers, and I'm going to send this as a TTM and see if I get it back, from Frank, and hopefully I do, and we'll go from there. So I'm very happy to add those autographs to the collection. We'll stick these up here so they're on camera too. I think we got it all on there. So this last item was the biggest item I bought, and this was just downright awesome. And if this is the type of thing you're interested in, the owner of this shop has tons of these. I mean, we're talking probably 100 or so of these certified autographed cards. And this was the only Hall of Fame plaque card like that, but this is one of those Hall of Fame metallic cards with no back. I don't know the origin of these too well. These are not like your traditional yellow plaques that you can buy at the Hall of Fame gift shop to this day. But this is a special metallic set that came out in 1989. And I just know 1989 because that's what it says. But this is Spence authenticated. There's a JSA authentic sticker on the back there. And it also has a SGC authentication. I don't know if Spence and them work together. I'm not sure on that, but this red Schoendienst plaque, certified in its holder, was $25. And being a big Cardinal fan, I've never seen one of these metallic Hall of Fame plaques before. I just thought, for $25, that's a very good deal, because Red does appearances, and he's usually at minimum $25 just to sign, and it goes up, based on what you want to get signed. A jersey costs more, a bat costs more, that type of thing. But for $25 to have it already slabbed and authenticated, I thought that was more than enough of a deal. So, in closing, thanks for watching. I really appreciate, you taking the time to do this. I just wanted to, again, put out there that card shops are a great place to sometimes find some great deals if you're a bargain shopper like I am. If you're ever in that area again, give the guy a chance to sell you something, because I guarantee you this is one of those places that you walk into, you'll have to buy something. He'll have something that you need. Even if that's just supplies. I bought a couple bat tubes while I was there as well, because he's one of the very few places I know that carries a long range of supplies that you can actually physically go in person and buy, and not have to, pay shipping and all that stuff. I mean, shipping on a bat tube is not fun to pay. So I'd rather go in and support my local card shop, and give him a few dollars more, even if that, I could save $2 on eBay buying a bat tube. By the time you factor in shipping and all that, I should have just bought it from him. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in to another pickups video. This is my first one with a card shop, so maybe I'll shoot a few more with card shop pickups in the future. And I look forward to your comments below.